All right, this will have to do for the Rotary Bell for a while. Would like to welcome everyone to our June 29 meeting. This is our final meeting of the Rotary year. We're so glad to have so many of you able to join us today. I'm very excited about this meeting, transitioning the presidency to Eric Stevens, who is so well prepared. He's going to do a fantastic job as the new president. But to get us started, as always, I'm going to turn the floor over to Charles Edwards for our invocation and some announcements. Charles Edwards.
Unmuted, sorry. All right. We appreciate everyone who has done service this past year in the name of Rotary. With sadness, we remember those who have left us, especially Vim and Eric. Gathered here today, we embrace our future. We are like-minded in our desire to serve here, at home, and around the world. We are thankful for those who accept the call to serve as club executives. We are thankful that today they vow to give their time for us as they steer our club to great heights and offer us strength and fine advice. We ask all of those present to join in service above self, to add your gifts to empower our club's future, to strengthen our work, to benefit our community, to share in our laughter, to help bring change to the world. We are proud to be Rotarians. Thank you. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Linda, do you want to identify the guests? Linda?
I know we have one very special guest today. We have David Hayden, who is our new district governor.
Well, I was thinking of your daughter, Elise, from Switzerland.
Yes, that was our next person that we were going to get to.
Right.
So Elise Dorset is joining us from Zurich, Switzerland. She is a Rotarian, was a member of this club, and we look forward to her returning to Raleigh and rejoining this club. So we're so glad that Elise could join today. And Elise, thank you for taking time out of your schedule, and it's late over there. So thanks for joining us. Let's see, and are there other special guests? Of course, we have my mother here with us live, and she looks so cute at age 91, and she's got her mask on and keeping a safe distance, I'm pleased to say. And my wife, Wynn, is here, has been supporting me throughout my years as an officer and board member of Rotary. And my daughter, Rush Dorset, is on the line. And I don't know if Grace and James were able to join, but hopefully we have them on the line as well. Are there other guests, Charles or Linda?
I do not see other guests. We've mentioned Dave Hayden and we've mentioned
Right.
Susan. So I think that is all the guests that I'm seeing.
Right.
All right, Charles, it's back to you.
Back to me. So it is a very real pleasure to introduce a special guest to our meeting today. Some of you had the pleasure of hearing her fill the executive mansion with her wonderful voice. Today, she is here to honor her father and our departing president. Rush Dorset is a classical singer, a native of Raleigh. She attended Ravenscroft, where she was tennis team captain and student vice president. She then went to St. Louis, to Washington University at St. Louis, graduating with an honors degree in music. And she also attended the prestigious Manhattan School of Music in New York. In 2018, she graduated with honors in vocal performance from the New England Conservatory in Boston. And she has performed not just in the United States, but Austria, Canada, yay, Colombia, Italy, and the UK. She's based here in Raleigh. In addition to performing, she is a voice coach and life coach. So if anybody wants to learn how to sing, Rush, that's a free plug for you. She's here. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Rush Dorset.
Hi, everyone. We've got some live applause over here. Oh, we have our dog Phoebe.
And the dog.
All right, Phoebes. Phoebe is really happy to be here. But it's wonderful to be here. It's such an honor to be able to share some singing with you all, and especially in honor of my amazing dad. And we are all so proud of him and inspired by his contribution to the Rotary Club. And I just have the utmost respect for this organization and everything that you are all committed to creating in the world. And so the song that I will be sharing with you is called The Prayer. It's a wonderful invocation by composer David Foster. And this song is all about world peace. It's about creating a world of justice, exactly what the Rotary Club is committed to. So thank you so much for having me, and I hope you enjoy. So give me one moment. I have the accompaniment on my speaker here. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that up and then begin. I pray you'll be our eyes and watch us where we go, and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace, to a place where we'll be safe. I pray we'll find your light and hold it in our hearts. When stars go out each night, oh, let this be our prayer when shadows fill our days. Guide us with your grace to a place where we'll be safe. Sogniamo un mondo senza più violenza, un mondo di giustizia e di speranza. Ognuno per il suo simbolo di pace, di fraternità. We ask that life be kind and watch us from above. We hope each soul will find another soul to love. Let this be our Need to find a place. Guide us with your grace. Give us faith so we'll be safe. E la fede che hai acceso in noi. Sento che ci
Bravo.
Thank you all so much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Rush.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, it's hard for me to refocus after that. I'm so grateful to Rush for being here and singing that beautiful song for us today. And thank you all for being here today for this very special meeting. Now I'd like to make a few announcements. We have some very special birthdays today. We have Lee Hammond. Birthday is July 4th coming up, and Sandra Long on July 5th. And then we have anniversaries coming up for Holmes and Sarah Harden. That's going to be, gosh, 29 years. And John and Nancy Brothers on the 29th today also, along with Holmes and Sarah, and that's 57 years. And then Braxton and Mary Alice Wilson on June 30th. So this is fantastic to have all of these folks celebrating these special occasions, and we're grateful that they're joining us today. Now I'd like to recognize a very special guest. This is our new district governor, David Hayden. David is a partner of mine with Smith Anderson. I don't know anyone who has devoted more time and effort and resources to service than David Hayden. He uses his career as a way to serve others. He uses his life as a way to serve others. He's been an instrumental member of Rotary, and now he is the incoming district governor of our district, and he is here to participate in our installation of officers today. And David, we just appreciate so much you being here with us today, and we're going to turn the program over to you in just a little while. This also is an occasion for us to remember departed members, and this year we lost Eric Elwood. Eric was a fabulous gentleman, a longtime member of this club. He was dean of the School of Forestry at North Carolina State University. When I joined the club, I thought Eric Elwood was my age. And when I learned that this sharp individual was 95 years old, I just couldn't believe it, and could only hope that I could be that sharp when I reached his age. But we lost Eric this year. He was sharp up until the end. He was able to join us just before the pandemic shut down. And so we got to honor Eric in person at our meeting at City Club Raleigh. I'd like to thank all of the past presidents of the club, and I believe that Valerie is going to display the names of the past presidents, and so many of them are with us here today. We're thankful for their continuing service to our club and all that they continue to do in their neighborhoods, places of worship, communities, our state, and around the world. Thank you to our past presidents. Now we have a very special award to present today. At each end of the year meeting, we present a special award to the Rotarian of the Year. I'm not going to reveal the name of this individual just yet, but you may soon recognize who I'm talking about. This individual stepped up this year in service like no one else in the club, as he has done before for many years. This individual also has a wife who's happily a member of our club, who also is an enormous force in service through her vocation and also through Rotary and otherwise. So I witnessed this individual live in service at the Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service in Durham on January 31 of this year. This individual can pour rice and beans and pack a meal faster than anybody I've ever seen. He is really good. He can plant trees. He can plan events for service. He stepped up like no one else this year, and we had some strong competition and contenders for Rotarian of the Year. But past President Dana Johnson led a search. She received nominations, and this individual best exemplified service above self for the 2019-2020 Rotary year, and that individual is Mark Hackett. Please join me in giving a warm round of applause to Mark for receiving this award this year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Guys. Thanks,
Mark,
Jim.
if you have a few words to say.
Normally I'm not without words, but this is a surprise. So I want to say thanks to Jim, you and Dana and the board and all the members. I mean, whenever this happens, you know, it's not a single person, but it's the group of Rotarians that, you know, I know have my back and I have your back. You know, again, I share this with all of you, but I appreciate the award and the recognition. I guess that's about all I can say right now. Thanks a lot. I do appreciate it.
Mark, thank you so much again for all of your devoted service, and being supported by Sylvia is a huge advantage for you. But we appreciate you both so much, and we just encourage all of our members to follow your lead and to step up in service of you as you have done, as you've both done during the past year. So thank you. And also, we'd like to display our members, those members who have been members of Rotary for 25 years. Our ringmaster, Valerie, is placing on the screen a list of the members who have devoted service to Rotary and through Rotary to the community and the world for 25 years. And I look forward one day to joining this list. It's an impressive list of individuals, many of them who've served as presidents of this club. So thanks to each of you so much for your continued service to our club and to Rotary. At this time, I'd like to turn the floor over to Eric Larson, the chairman of our foundation, for an announcement. I see Eric, but I can't hear him yet.
He needs to be unmuted.
All right, while we're waiting for Eric, let's go to the Paul Harris Fellow list, if Valerie can display that list. Okay, this is the Lester Woodall Society list, and you can see those members who've donated to our club this year at the level of the Lester Woodall Society or have donated to our club's foundation. And under the leadership of Eric Larson, our foundation has grown to over $500,000 in assets. And by virtue of having those assets in our foundation account, we're able to use the income from that account to support good causes in our community, and to make donations to charities, which we've done this year. And Eric has carefully nurtured our foundation assets with the aid of professional managers to watch it grow even as we make significant donations to charities and to support the work of our club. And if Eric is able to join us for the Paul Harris Fellowship, that would be great. If we have a glitch here through Zoom, then I'll just mention one award winner of whom I'm aware. All right, well, Zoom is not perfect, so maybe Eric Larson can join us later on in the program. I saw Eric and he's attending and carefully paying attention, but I don't think the Zoom technology has worked on this. Terry Reeves is a new member of the Paul Harris Fellowship. And shown on the screen right now are the Paul Harris Fellowship Award winners. And it's quite an extensive list. These are individuals who've made significant contributions to the foundation of Rotary International. And Eric Elwood is a recent member, and Terry Reeves is our most recent member, receiving the coveted Paul Harris Fellowship Award. So you can see it's quite a long list there. Sarah Reeves preceded Terry as a member. Many past presidents, Dr. Surrey Roberts, Bill Sigmund, Eric Stevens, Catherine Stewart, Mike Toddy, Charlie Upshaw, Martin Worf, Kirk Warner, Reagan Weaver, Braxton Wilson, and others. And so we're just grateful to each of you for that level of financial support. And I'll just add that support for the Paul Harris Fellows to give at that level to the Rotary International Foundation, that has built the Rotary International Foundation to a fund of $1.2 billion. And with the income off of that fund, Rotary International is able to do powerful work around the world for clean water, for sanitation, fighting disease, promoting health and education, and making lives better for people in need around the world. So thank you, all of you fellows, and thank you, Eric Larson, for tending to our club's foundation. Now, we've had some members this year who've had perfect attendance, and this is pretty fantastic. Lawrence Davis, Charles Edwards, David Forrest, Randy Fraser, Bill McLaurin, and Eric Stevens all had perfect attendance this year, and they really show the way for all of our members. And I know that they also benefited greatly by attending all of our meetings, because we have, in addition to our service, we have such educational opportunities and opportunities for fellowship and commerce as well. So thank you all for those who achieved perfect attendance this year. Now I'd like to recognize the outgoing officers and board members and thank them for their service. So also those who've completed their service this year will be recognized by their certificates of appreciation appearing on the screen. Carrie Suffern has done a fantastic job as a member of our board. She's given greatly of her time and resources to the Rotary Club of Raleigh. And Carrie, in addition to working full-time, is a relatively new mother, and so I don't know how she found time to do all that she did for Rotary this year, but she did so, and thank you, Carrie. Corey Fuse was director of our New Generations program. He headed Rotaract and Interact, which is developing new leaders on our college campuses and in our high schools. Corey served for 3 years in this role, devoted enormous time and energy and resources to the task, recruited new members for Rotaract and Interact, and did a fantastic job also as a member of our board. So thank you also to Corey Fuse for your service. We're not letting Carrie and Corey go anywhere. We're going to continue to claim you for further service. I'd also like to thank the officers that will serve again next year, and I'm going to speak about those outgoing officers and the officers who will serve again next year in my remarks. So it's at this time that that I will offer some remarks here, and I'd like for each of you to reflect with me on the year just past. So I would first like to say what an honor and a privilege it's been to serve as president of the Rotary Club of Raleigh this year. It's been an honor, a privilege, a pleasure. I've enjoyed serving with each and every one of you, and especially with my fellow officers and board members. Thank you so much. I've had tremendous support this year from the officers, the members of the board. I'd like to thank them for supporting me and our club. I'd like to thank each and every one of our members for supporting me and our club during this year. I see so many of you on the screen attending this meeting, and I want to thank you. I especially want to thank my wonderful wife, Wynn, for supporting me this year. She's been an enormous help, not only in supporting me through Rotary, but in every aspect of my life, my career. She's the best wife and mother anyone could wish for, and it's thanks to her that we have 4 amazing children, Elise, Rush, James, and Grace, with a sort of talent to sing and things like this that I don't have. Obviously, that came from the maternal line, as well as through my mother, Annalee Dorset, who's looking beautiful here today at age 91. Truly, none of this would be possible without her. So I'm especially grateful to my mother, Annalee Dorset, for this opportunity to be here and to serve as your president. So,
thank you, everybody.
So thank you, Wynn. So I'd like for us to reflect on the year gone by. I'd like for us to reflect that July 1st of last year, we were on a roll. Our club was on a roll. Our economy was on a roll. Our country was on a roll. And no one at that time could have predicted that in March and April of this year, we would be experiencing a global pandemic, a recession, protests, social turmoil, division, and all of the troubles that we are facing in society. You just couldn't have predicted it back July 1 of last year. And so when the shutdown went into effect, we were no longer able to meet at City Club Raleigh for lunch and to have fellowship in person and to have speakers in person and camaraderie. We were kind of uncertain what to do, but thanks to those of you with such great skill and determination, we pivoted, our club pivoted rapidly to meeting by Zoom. The transition has been almost seamless. We've continued to meet each Monday. We've continued to offer great programs, fellowship, and camaraderie. We've continued to have socials online, and all of this is done through this Zoom technology that wouldn't have been possible or even imaginable just a few years ago. So I'd like to thank Valerie and Linda and others, Dr. Richard Watkins and others for helping with this transition. and for my fellow board members and officers for supporting me in our making this transition. So Rotary has really risen to the challenge. We've continued to provide excellent speakers opportunities for learning. We've continued to provide service in our communities. We've made donations through our foundation to Rex Healthcare, the Dementia Alliance, to the Wake Smiles Dental Clinic, to the frontline charities, to the food bank that is feeding the hungry in our community. And through our international foundation, we've completed to support projects helping people with their basic needs all over the world. So we have risen, and we have been a force for inclusivity, equality, peace, and understanding around the world. And I know that under the leadership of my successor, we're going to continue and increase our role in this regard and to help address the troubles in our society and the advancement of all peoples. And we have also ended the year thanks to the efforts of our treasurer, Tom Packer, who I know to be an attorney, but he seems to work on the level of a highly skilled certified public accountant. We ended the year with a balanced budget, and we have a fiscal plan going forward that should continue to keep us in the black and prepares a sound, solid financial foundation going forward. Thanks to Christy Santacana, we actually grew in membership during the past year. We were fearful of being unable to retain members when we were no longer able to meet, but we actually added members and grew. So thank you, Christy, and all of those who've brought new members to our club. And as I mentioned, thanks to Gina and Mark and Kevin and others, and many of you, we've continued to demonstrate service above self throughout the past year, through our community and around the world. So I'd like for you to reflect with me just for a moment regarding the incredible programs and speakers that we've all enjoyed and learned from during the past year. Thanks to Mike Toddy and the Programs Committee, we've had an incredible array of speakers. We began the year with North Carolina Secretary of Commerce, Tony Copeland, and we ended the year with the North Carolina State Treasurer, Dale Falwell. Those are pretty strong bookends for our speakers. In between these two public figures, we offered speakers such as Rufus Edmiston, who gave us his reflections on his career in public service, the Watergate hearings, and his new book, a very engaging and fascinating talk by Rufus. We presented scientists who talked about black holes in the universe, the effect of technology on the world now and looking into the future, genetic precision medication, the future of medicine. We presented filmmaker Burke Kuntz, who presented on his award-winning film, Betting on Zero. Television General Manager Steve Hamill of WRAL TV. We had Miss USA Chesley Christ. We did have a few anonymous individuals join our meeting that day for some reason. I don't think they were there to listen to my talk. We had General Gorey talk about transitioning veterans who've been injured through war, through their service, mentally and physically, and to help them transition into productive lives back in society. What a powerful talk that was. We brought in the leaders of Wake Tech, the Poole College of Management at NC State, and Campbell Law School. I still remember the images of the law students in Ghana visiting the courts there and learning the history and returning inspired to continue their legal studies. We had Dr. Max Wallace talk about the search for a cure to brain cancer, and from there to cure other cancers. And Dr. Mike Walden, economist, award-winning economist, talking about the future of the economy for our region, state, and nation. That was quite a fascinating talk. We've had nonprofit leaders, Bloom Here, Summer Wisher, the head of our dental clinic, Wake Smiles. We had publishers and authors such as Sarah Glines and Rob Christensen. And I think most of all, we enjoyed the presentations by our own members. So we had Justice Mark Davis discuss his first book on the Supreme Court of North Carolina. We had Dr. Richard Watkins talk about his training and mentoring of the next generation of scientists. And we got to enjoy also Dale Magliola talking about coaching the sailing team at NC State and developing new leaders through that. And Dana, thankfully, has joined our club and is a fantastic contributing new member to our club. And then perhaps more than anything, we enjoyed the enlivening and enlightening historical reflections of our venerated members, Robert McMillan and Bill Simpson. What fantastic examples they are to each and all of us as Rotary members. Thank you, Robert and Bill. And before the shutdown, we had lunch at the North Carolina Museum of Art and toured the exhibits. We had our Christmas lunch at the Carolina Country Club with carols, and we made many, many trips down the buffet line at City Club Raleigh, and we hope to resume that very, very soon. So our programs clearly spanned music, art, government, science, service, and we learned a great deal, but always each of these programs was preceded by an incredible and unique invocation penned by our own Charles Edwards, head of administration. And I'm pleased to let everyone know these invocations are going to be published. So we'll be looking out for that in the very near term. So speaking of service, our focus this year was on housing, health, and hunger. So as I mentioned, we packed meals, we planted trees in parks, we built homes for Habitat for Humanity, and when the shutdown began, we continued to donate to frontline charities. So we had a great year in service. As I also mentioned, our foundation, led by Eric Larson, contributed to many worthy causes, and we supported Rotary International's efforts around the world. So you, the members of the Rotary Club of Raleigh, truly exemplified service above self during the past year, even under these most difficult of circumstances. So thanks to each and every one of you for all you did, the sacrifices that you made of your time, your energy, your effort, and your finances to continue to provide services in your neighborhoods, in your places of worship, in your community, to charities and around the world through our foundations. Thank you. Now, let me just say that all of this activity was faithfully recorded by our board secretary, Elsa Silverman, in her immaculate minutes. So thank you, Elsa. And Elsa will be continuing that service. Now, I'd like to speak to what I think was our club's greatest accomplishment during the past year. We helped to found a new club in Southeast Raleigh, the Rotary Club of Southeast Raleigh. And already this club has grown to about 20 members. They're meeting weekly with incredible programs that I've been fortunate to attend. They have socials, they are providing service, and they are primed to partner with us in service once we're able to meet live, once the restrictions are limited. And Eric Stevens, incoming president, has got a great plan for a day of service that I'm sure you'll be hearing about from Eric. I mentioned new generations. We've continued to develop that pipeline of new leaders and appreciate Corey Fuse's work there. And Harrison Turner is coming in to pick up the mantle. Despite having a new baby and a promotion at North State Bank, Harrison is stepping up to the plate and is going to lead new generations in the coming year. We thank you so much. So in summary, thanks to each of you, you made me look good because our club achieved the presidential citation for meeting or exceeding every criteria for a Rotary club during the past year. We hit the target, we received the presidential citation from the district. I'd like to say a special word of thanks to my predecessor, Dana Johnson. Dana was an incredibly helpful guide and mentor and supporter of me and our club throughout the past year. Dana, you finally really do get a break in the coming year. So congratulations, you and Kevin, relax and enjoy and take some time off. And you might see me there, Dana. And I'd like to say a special word of thanks also to past President Mary Moss, Kevin Summers, Kirk Warner, and all of the past presidents who preceded them for continuing their support for our club and for service. So thank you for that. Now, it is the time to transition to new leadership. And I'm so excited. I couldn't be more excited because you have chosen a truly outstanding and gifted leader to come in as president of the Rotary Club of Raleigh. Eric Stevens possesses all of the qualities of a gifted leader. He is an incredibly hard worker. His work ethic is unparalleled. He is highly intelligent. He writes and speaks well. He's a great communicator. He has experience as having served as an officer and on the board and as a volunteer. Most importantly, he has the qualities of empathy and a huge heart for service. So Eric Stevens is the right man at the right time to lead this club. But he won't do it alone because he's going to have a huge support from the members of the board, many of whom are continuing. Charles Edwards is stepping into the post of president-elect. Tom Packer, our treasurer, will become president nominee. Dr. Richard Watkins will become head of administration as well as heading programs. Harrison Turner, as I mentioned, will be stepping up, and Valerie Evans is going to continue, thankfully, to lead our PR effort and as our Zoom ringmaster. Christy is going to continue in membership. Gina will continue to lead service. Matt Munoz, Eric Larson, Alexandra Kinsinger, and the rest of our hardworking board all will remain in place. And thankfully for each and every one of them, Linda Monaghan has agreed once again to remain in place as executive secretary. I don't know how she does it. I don't know how we could do it without her. So we're so grateful to Linda for staying in place, and Eric is going to be particularly grateful in the coming year for that support. So in closing, I want to say thank you all for the incredible privilege and honor of serving as president of the Rotary Club of Raleigh during the past year. You made my year of service a pleasure, a privilege, and truly delightful, mostly because I got to work with each and every one of you. And so now it's my honor to pass the gavel and the bell to our next president. And it's time now for me to recognize District Governor David Hayden for an induction ceremony. Thank you all.
Well, this is indeed an honor to be here and be included in this really wonderful celebration of one leader to another leader, and you have a club full of leaders. I have no doubt that any one of them sitting there could step up to the plate and take on the challenges that are offered in Rotary and be extremely successful. This is the mothership club for the state of North Carolina. It's something that every one of you can be extremely proud of, and it's an honor for me every time I get to come and join one of your meetings. Jim is a good friend, partner in our firm, but he has an incredible family. So when you get Jim, you get the whole package, and they epitomize what I like to think is our relationship and love for each other in Rotary. They can be a great model for us going forward. And not only can they sing, they look pretty darn good, and they're just a tremendously tight group that support each other in whatever they do, and which is what's so incredible about Rotary. We support each other as well. I applaud your efforts this year, Jim. Most importantly, as you pointed out, I applaud your club's efforts in starting a new club in Southeast Raleigh. And I can't tell you how important that is to me to see that club created and eventually chartered. And I'm just excited about the prospects for the future with your club's mentorship and support. It's going to be a wonderful club and a great addition to the Rotary District 7710. Coming year, we have challenges. You've already demonstrated how you can overcome those challenges. Eric is a great person to have at the helm. I loved talking with him many times, especially in Greensboro during the PETS training, President-elect training. And I know that you are in good hands handing it off to him, and that not only will this club continue to excel, you'll make new paths for Rotary clubs in the district and be a great role model for the other clubs in the district. You're going to do great, Eric. You got this. So, without further ado, I'm going to speak to the incoming president, the incoming officers and directors. You've been elected to the important positions in the administration of the Rotary Club of Raleigh. This is an indication of our esteem and confidence in all of you.
Hand me some of these.
We also believe you will uphold the high traditions of the Raleigh Club, that you will give the best of your executive ability to the furtherance of the interest of the club and the carrying forward of the object of Rotary. You may want to unmute your individual laptops or computers or whatever to answer the question I'm about to ask. To each of you, will you fulfill the responsibilities of your offices to the best of your ability and in accordance with the bylaws of this club? And your answer is?
I will.
Yes, I will.
All right. Okay, you can mute yourself again. I hereby declare the new officers and director installed and give President Eric, if he hasn't already got it in his hot little hands, the gavel as a symbolic of the transfer of the club's administration. And I think we might have a gift for Jim and Wynn somewhere.
So, David, thank you so much. A beautiful bouquet of flowers was delivered this morning, completely unexpected. Those flowers were apparently not for me. And so we really appreciate that. And again, I want to thank Wynn so much for all of her support. And Wynn does great service also through our church as an elder and Sunday school teacher and so many other ways in the community. I could go on and on about that. Now, I've got all kinds of Rotary bling here, and I don't know what this is, but Dana had this delivered, or Dana delivered this, and I don't know what it is. She wouldn't let me look at it, and she said I had to open it during the meeting, so I've always followed Dana's advice because I've never known it to be wrong. So let me see what we have here. Oh dear. Okay, good gosh. Oh, look at this. So this is, it couldn't be more appropriate. A picture of a proud father and his lovely daughter. This is from the event at the Governor's Mansion. where Rush sang for the Rotary Club of Raleigh. And sang again today. So thank you so much, Dana, and all members of the club. Gosh, that's a fantastic gift. This will be on my desk for the rest of my career. Thank you, members of the Rotary Club of Raleigh. And it looks like, good grief, I have a gift certificate for Wynn's favorite gallery for pottery and arts. It's called the Art Stellar Gallery in Banner Elk, North Carolina. And the gift certificate is presented to me, but I know where to turn it over, and I'm going to present it right now to the rightful recipient. I also have other Rotary bling here. I've got a paperweight, and I've got a past president's pen. So I've got this wonderful paperweight, which I'm going to enjoy on my desk for the remainder of my career, which I hope will be a good 30 years like Robert McMillan. I'm going to follow in Robert McMillan's footsteps. And I have a Rotary past president's pen, and believe me, Eric, I am so happy to be penned with this past president's pen, and Dana appreciates this, and you'll appreciate this in about 12 months. So thank you. I am officially penned as past president of the Rotary Club of Raleigh. David, thank you so much. Back to you.
And
all right, so we're the gavel now. And so Ringmaster, can we bring up the gavel for the virtual passing of the gavel?
We don't have a virtual gavel. That gift didn't work.
Oh, okay. So the technology is not perfect. Maybe in another year or 5, we'll have perfect Zoom technology. So I virtually hand you, Eric, Stephen, incoming president, the gavel, and look to you for remarks about your Rotary year. Thank you.
all right, thank you so much, Jim, and thanks to you and to District Governor Hayden for your extraordinary leadership this year and the example that you have both provided to me and to the rest of us during a time that has been presented challenges like nobody could have anticipated, as you said. Ringmaster Valerie, if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen now. All right. Can everybody see the screen? Greetings, everyone. In case any of you are not familiar with me, my name is Eric Stevens, and I am an attorney with the law firm of Pointer Spruill, and I have been a proud Rotarian with this club for several years now. I put up a screen with some pictures there. So right there in the middle, you see me and my lovely wife, Susan. Susan is on the line, and thank you so much for your patience with me, Susan, while I've done all of this work that doesn't result in any type of paycheck. And you see on the other side of the screen, my 2 wonderful children. There's Julia and Philip. Julia is a recent graduate of Wake Forest University. She had one of those virtual graduations. And Philip is a rising junior at NC State. And then, of course, to the right side of your screen, there is our lovely dog, Livy. So another important part of our family. So less than 4 months ago, I joined with District Governor Hayden and hundreds of Rotarian president-elects throughout our region at the PETS conference. That's the President Elect Training Seminar Conference in Greensboro. That was the weekend of March 5th. And that was just 4 months ago, but it feels like maybe it was 4 years ago. So much has happened since then. You know, if you ever get the opportunity to become a Rotary president, one of the real joys is to attend the PETS conference. You get to spend time with amazing people from all walks of life who are all extremely successful in their careers, and they all are friendly and fun and have a passion for service. So I came away from that meeting brimming with all kinds of exciting ideas about what to do with our club this year. And they provide all kinds of interesting suggestions about how to make meetings fun, about how to come up with new and interesting service projects, about how to engage and grow your membership. And, you know, so much of it involves, you know, that personal touch, you know, enjoying breaking bread and enjoying fellowship together. And at that time, just 4 months ago, you know, the COVID-19 crisis was beginning to make itself known. There was already some spread here in the United States. But at the local level, the practical meaning of that for us was, you know, instead of a handshake, there was an elbow bump. And we all spent a little bit more time at the sink washing our hands than perhaps we've been used to before. But you know, I certainly didn't imagine, and I know a lot of people even then didn't imagine what kind of effect it would have on all aspects of our life. I remember having a conversation with somebody at PETS about the fact that there was an article in the news that the country of Japan had made a determination to close all of their schools. And I remember kind of laughing with somebody and saying, you know, can you imagine what kind of difficulties it would raise for, you know, for parents here and for families here if we couldn't send our children off to school every day. You know, it wasn't but a few weeks later that the decision was made to close all the schools here in North Carolina. So, you know, it's interesting to me to try to imagine now how I would have reacted if somebody from, you know, 4 months in the future had come to visit me in my hotel room at the Sheraton that weekend and described to me, you know, what all was going to happen in the ensuing months. That, you know, Rotary would not have any in-person meetings. That we would all virtually transition to having all of our meetings on Zoom. That we would have nearly as robust attendance through people sitting in front of their computers like we're all doing now as we did when people had the inducement of, you know, steak and cheesecake and fellowship with their friends at the table. That there would be no district conference. The plans we had made for a fundraiser at the transfer company food hall would have to be canceled. And then, you know, that hypothetical person could have told me that there was a killing of a man named George Floyd, which would lead to kind of protests throughout the nation and the world, and instigate this kind of searching and difficult national conversation that we've had over the past month or so about racism and social justice. So yeah, it's been an interesting few months, and I am so proud of how Rotary at all levels has risen to the challenge. So our club, which, you know, was established at the tail end of the horse and buggy era, became one of the first in our districts to begin holding our weekly meetings via Zoom. And since then, we've had virtual meeting socials, membership socials. We've engaged in community service. We've held our board meetings via Zoom. And we have continued to support and grow our new satellite club, the Southeast Raleigh Club. And Rotary at the international level has repurposed a lot of the foundation funds. And to this point, I understand there have already been $5 million worth of grants that have been given out for COVID relief to clubs all over the world. And Rotary, particularly at the district level, has responded to the moment with respect to race and social justice as well. We've established a new e-club for social justice at the district level. And there are plans for more appropriate ways to respond in the coming months. So we all owe President Jim a debt of gratitude for how he helped our club navigate the past year, but particularly the past few months. And it turns out that Jim's steady hand, his good humor, his graciousness, his calm demeanor, his wise decision-making were just the fit for the situation we found ourselves in. Jim, you know, I don't think maybe all the members of the club were able to see behind the scenes what I was able to see in terms of the work you did to help us secure all those excellent speakers that you described, and you know, attending, you know, all of the different meetings that were held to begin establishing a new club in Southeast Raleigh. So we owe a lot for our continued success to Jim, and of course to all of the rest of the board that really stepped up to this new situation. So with that said, let's talk about where we're headed as a club. You know, we took a survey a while back and gave me a little bit of pause. We asked you guys what was it that drew you to Rotary, and the number one answer was a weekly lunch. And so we have been planning for that, and you know, I know you know that the weekly lunches are a very important part of all of our Rotary experiences, and they're certainly an important part of mine. And we are hoping that we will be able to get back and see each other and enjoy fellowship and break bread together as soon as possible. We have, as a board, made a decision looking at the current circumstances that at least for the next quarter, so through the end of September, we're going to continue to have our meetings via Zoom in order to ensure the paramount health and safety of everyone. So I hope you'll be patient with us. And what that means is that we are going to continue to work to find new and innovative ways to keep doing what Rotary has been doing in this altered environment. So our vision for 2021 is to build on what we do, you know, all the time. So we're going to continue to have interesting and informative meetings. We're going to continue to work as a club to grow and engage our members. We're going to continue to find ways to enjoy fun and fellowship. And of course, we are going to engage in meaningful service to make a difference in our community. So with respect to meetings, Jim gave a great description of what, you know, how we handled our meetings last year, and we're going to work on more of the same this year. We're going to continue to bring in interesting speakers. I can go ahead and announce to you one of the great speakers that you can look forward to on, I believe, July 13. It's Dr. Ralph Barrick. And Richard, my apologies if I pronounced that incorrectly. He is one of the world's foremost experts on coronaviruses, and perhaps if you subscribe to the News and Observer, you read the great article about him recently when he was declared Tar Heel of the Month. He is going to take a little break from you know, saving the world to come and share with us you know, where we are with this pandemic, and hopefully give us some hope for the future. We are also planning plenty of other great programs, and stay tuned. We are going to continue to work to grow and engage our members. And so one example of that is that we are going to have what's called Discovery Rotary meetings on a fairly, at least a couple of times over the course of the year. And that's where we go to each of you and say, we need you to help us to identify a prospective member. And we gather a list, we invite them to a meeting that is specially scheduled to talk about Rotary and why they should be a member of the Rotary Club of Raleigh. So please stay tuned for that, and please, keep your brain humming and thinking of people that we can invite to join our club. As far as fun and fellowship, I can tell you that one idea that we have that hopefully will be taking place in the fall is a virtual wine tasting fundraiser. So my wife and I enjoyed one of these recently. We did it through the Raleigh Wine Shop, and we paid a certain amount of money, and there were wines that were delivered that were covered up to our house, and then you go on Zoom, and there's the person from the shop that guides you through tasting the wines. So we thought that would be a fun opportunity for all of us to raise some money and to have some fun and enjoy some good wines. And so be on the lookout. We haven't got that on the schedule yet, but that's something that I'm looking forward to, and I hope you are too. We're also going to work as quickly as we can to get back to seeing each other's faces in person. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to look. So this is a picture that I found of a meeting that took place, and so I'm not sure if we're going to do that with the wooden office chairs in a field, but we're going to find a way, and I think outdoors is probably going to be the first step for us to all be able to get together and see each other in person safely. And then service. So one thing that's going to happen just tomorrow, I believe, is the district has taken some funds and secured a very large amount of PPE, of masks, hand sanitizers, gloves, that kind of thing, and is working with all of the different clubs throughout our district to distribute them to places that need them. And so we're going to be a part of that. Charles is going to go pick up our share tomorrow, and we're going to be working to distribute that in our area to places that need them. And that's that's one thing that we'll be working on. Another service project that we have planned for this year involves what's called a Lane Street Mini Park that has recently been renamed for the coach of North Carolina Central basketball team, Lavelle Moten. This is a park in downtown Raleigh, and we have applied for a district grant to raise some funds to help improve the park, to put in some new playground chips and to do some plantings. And that's something that we would work together with our friends at the Southeast Raleigh Club to join together to do some nice hands-on service to make our community a little nicer. And then our big plan for the year is you mark your calendars for April 17, 2021. That's going to be our district-wide day of service. So thanks to District Governor Hayden for conceiving of this great idea for all of the clubs in our district to come together on a single day to provide service. So this would be multiple projects that benefit several different nonprofit organizations in all 6 different areas of focus for Rotary. We would all gather, or the plan is for us to all gather at a central meeting point in Southeast Raleigh. And then, we're going to have a PR element. We're going to try to, have some some food and fellowship and fun. And we are going to be working real hard to coordinate this over the coming years. So again, that's something to be looking forward to, and that's probably going to be, one of the important legacies of next year for our club. So that's just a highlight of a few things that we have coming up. But the important thing for this year is that we really want to lean in to the idea when we can't, at least for the time being, have meetings in person. We want to lean in to everybody being engaged with the club in as many different alternative ways as possible. And to that end, mark your calendar for July 20th, our normal meeting time, we're going to have a virtual club assembly. Assuming we can make the technology work. If you recall, if you've been to any of our meetings where we have a club assembly, we start off together, then we all separate out into different committees, and we work on planning for the work of those committees during the Rotary hour. Technology permitting, we're going to use breakout rooms to break everybody into separate groups by the committees. Linda, for most of you, I believe, has the information about which committee you are assigned to. But if there's something that really piques your interest that you want to be a part of and to help plan for the future, for the coming year, please send an email to Linda and tell her which committee you would like to be assigned to, and then you will be grouped with that committee on July 20th when we have our club assembly. And just to give you a little bit of an understanding, the club administration committee, that's involved with the planning of our weekly meetings. Richard Watkins is going to be working with Mike Toddy to help develop our speakers, to help plan the flow of the weekly meetings and to deal with a lot of different administrative issues of the club. So, if you have an idea for a speaker, if you have an idea for how to make our meetings more fun and interesting, feel free to join with Richard on July 20th. The Finance Committee deals with our budget, helps keep us straight there, and helps keep up with and keep track of our investments, particularly with our foundation. The Foundation Committee then is involved with the Paul Harris and the Lester Woodall Society Awards, and Eric Larson and his committee help decide how we use the funds from the foundation to benefit the community. And they also are involved with helping to make sure that we are continuing to grow the foundation. Fundraising, Alex Kinziger. If you want to be involved in planning that virtual wine tasting, if you want to be involved in planning a fundraiser that will be associated with this April 17 Day of Service, or any of the other activities involved with raising funds to benefit our community, then join with Alex on July 20th. Service projects, Gina Yacone is our head of the service projects, and Mark Hackett is going to be there helping her. And you've already heard about several of the projects we have planned, and that's not even including what we always do, ringing the bell, tree plantings. We're hoping to plan a project perhaps to plant some trees in honor of Eric Elwood. So if you want to be involved in that planning, join with Gina and Mark on the 20th. New Generations, that's now Harrison's committee. That's if you really have a passion for working with young people through Rotaract, that has the group in the college, through Interact that has a group in Broughton High School. If you want to be involved in helping with the 4-way test that we do with Martin Middle School, join with them on the 20th. Membership, pardon me. So membership is, that's the group that is working to find creative ways to help us during a pandemic to continue to maintain, engage, and grow our membership. And Christy has done a great job with the virtual socials to help keep us engaged and entertained. We are going to be working on Discover Rotary. We're going to be considering some potential new models of membership, such as perhaps a new membership. Join with her if that's where your interest lies. And finally, public relations. If you want to be involved with Valerie in helping to get the word out about what we do, and that's where your passion lies, please join us. What I would like to say, at the end of 2021 is that it was a better year in terms of our national status than 2020 has been so far, and that we have engaged all of our members in helping to do the business, to have fun, and to do the business of Rotary. So thank you so much. Please join with us. This club is what you all make it, and we're so fortunate to have so many talented, successful, interesting people that have a heart for service and be a part of what we're doing. And look forward to it. Thanks to Jim again. Thank you, Linda and Valerie, for keeping us on track with our Zoom meetings here, and that's all. And we will close with a four-way test. So, of the things we think, say, and do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned?
Will it build
Third,
goodwill?
build goodwill,
friendships,
friendships.
Will it
Fourth,
be
beneficial
beneficial
to all? All right, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Big meeting. Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank
Congrats,
you.
Eric.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Looking forward to your leadership.
Thank you. I'm so pleased to be able to display this. Eric, you'll have this to look forward to after a great year.
Well, that's very well earned.
Thank you so
definitely
much.
should display that in a place of pride.
Have a great day, everyone.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rush.